Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and recently more information from MMO Champion came out for Legion, and today I'll be talking over the list of information from class changes to transmog item changes that have come out in the game. And I'll be filling you guys in exactly what will be happening, as well as giving you my personal thoughts on all the changes. First of all, Demon Hunters are starting at level 98 right now. So if you were going to use your free level 100 for Legion, do not use it on Demon Hunters. Just get your Demon Hunter up there, level them from 98 to 100, and then begin your Legion journey from there. Death Knights will still continue to start at level 55 though. Demon Hunters will have a short transform with inner demon visuals. I guess this pertains to the metamorphosis system, and I'm going to guess it will look nothing like what Demonology Warlocks have currently with metamorphosis. Double jump won't be disabled anywhere. Demon Hunters will be able to double jump anywhere they go, from raids to PvP, and I can see this kind of breaks certain zones and cause Blizzard to raise the hitboxes a little bit higher, so Demon Hunters can jump over certain areas, I guess. But it'll be interesting how far and how high can Demon Hunters go, and it'll be funny watching them scale around Dalaran as they hang out on rooftops and go higher and higher and higher because of the double jump mechanic. Demon Hunters will be the only class that will be able to use Warglaives, as it is right now in Legion. I was thinking that eventually Warglaives could be something of a sword or a mace or a fist weapon that everybody else might be using, because Warglaives do seem almost that of like a sword-fist weapon combination. But as it is right now in Legion, Demon Hunters will be the only class that can use Warglaives. Survival Hunters will get a Harpoon ability that allows them to throw a spear to pull mobs towards them. That of a Death Knight Death Grip mechanic, or that of a Priest Life Grip. This mechanic hasn't been used widely as a variety towards World of Warcraft, and I'm happy that at least one more spec of class is getting this ability. It's interesting that Survival Hunters will have this Harpoon ability, and I'm pretty sure it's going to make PvP as well as the playstyle for them much more interesting. Most specs are getting overhauled completely, tweaking them to fit the fantasy of the spec. Some will even be renamed, and I'm wondering if any of the 3 specs of Rogue, Combat, Subtlety, or Assassination will be renamed in any way. It would be interesting for Combat to go from Combat to a Buccaneer or anything of that sort, so I'm excited to see what the changes come out in the future. Some specs will even use a renamed source, such as Insanity for Shadow Priests. For the longest time, Shadow Priests have been using Shadow Orbs, but now they'll be using a mechanic of Insanity. Again, makes me excited because I do have a Shadow Priest, and I would love to check out this system and mechanic as soon as possible. The Sewer class hull for Rogues, again, seems they confirmed that it's going to be the Dalaran Sewers. Apparently looks great. It is not a sewer at all. It doesn't feel like a sewer, doesn't look like a sewer. It'll have some treasure chests. Hopefully this treasure chest will be enough to blind us by the fact that we'll be sitting in a sewer. I personally think it's a pretty cool environment, the sewer of Dalaran, and just the way that they are built. Besides the muck and the fact that it's a sewer with rotten water around all over the place, the whole zone and the environment just feels very roguelike and feels kind of cool. But what are your thoughts on that? Leave me in the comments below. The Moonkin model will be updated, so everybody playing with Boomkin will actually have a whole new model. I would love to see what it looks like in the future, because the current one kind of looks derpy, and definitely certain aspects of it definitely look low res. With the fact that we have all these new human models, orc models, all vanilla models updated for the game, definitely I would love to see what the Moonkin model will look like, as well as the Moonkin weapon change choices. If the Moonkin model will change to the weapon, or if the Moonkins will just have the weapon change depending on what your artifact weapon is. Just wondering if the effect will be that of Pharaohs, which, if you are not aware of, the Pharaohs will have fangs as a weapon instead of an actual weapon, which would change the whole cat form model and how it looks, from a metallic cat to maybe an icy cat to maybe a fiery cat. A lot of options in the future. No new major glyphs will be added. I think it's kind of nice. Nothing too crazy to really mess with. Nothing too crazy balance-wise. A lot of aesthetic choices and aesthetic changes that create more of a cooler feel to each spec and class. No Gnome Hunters yet. Maybe it'll make some sense to add them in the future. So, if you ever want to play Gnome Hunter, unavailable right now for the moment. I think they should keep this kind of thing. Kind of like how Tauren can be mages, but they can be shamans. Just one of those aesthetic changes for class and race combination. Another piece I want to talk about is the transmog items, and this isn't PvP related, but transmogging system is going to be account wide. The item must be usable by the class trying to use it. So let's say you are running around doing a raid or a dungeon on an alt character, and you are trying to get some awesome leather gear pieces, but you get a bunch of cloth and plates. Now you shouldn't be throwing away those cloths and plates, you should stick them in a bank, because then your other tunes can use those pieces to mix and match transmog. This will make you being able to design and keep the items you need for a character in terms of transmog much easier. I mean, I've had plenty of times where I would run on my warrior trying to get any kind of piece of transmog gear, and I got some awesome pieces of leather gear that was instantly soulbound to me, and I wouldn't be able to ever, for the life of me, get it on my rogue when I ran that raid or dungeon on my rogue. So this system, of course, is going to make things much easier, and I think it'll be interesting. Multi-strike is also being removed completely as a secondary stat, and will have changes as well. The multi-strike being removed, I think, is interesting altogether. It is a mechanic that was somewhat introduced through trinkets at the end of Mists of Pandaria within the raiding scene, and was a system and a stat introduced in Warlords of Draenor. I think it was one of the few new ones with versatility, but I can see how it proven to be kind of lackluster. Crit still makes sense, multi-strike makes sense, but certain classes and specs have been OP if they're able to use multi-strike to the full potential, but in PvP, multi-strike pretty much didn't see any scene whatsoever. The only class that used it was Elemental Shaman, and even those guys have a hard time playing in PvP at a higher rate of ladders, and just overall dueling and anything that is related to PvP. So this is it really for all the changes so far on the 9.6.15 for MMO Champion. I'll have the link for it down below. What do you guys think of all the changes coming out? Let me know in the comments below. I personally am excited for all the changes happening to classes and specs, and we'll be covering rogues as soon as possible. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. My name is Dalrin, and I'll see you guys in the next video.